Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a bit hectic 2 days for me. Traveling yesterday throughout Europe to Cluj-Napoca for the Open Innovation 2.0 conference, and today again across Europe to get here. And first already short intervention in another conference where we had all those, let's say, EU electronic strategy issues, the role of industry collaborating with public sector and with the science research communities. And now here, but I'm very happy that there was this option to come over here and address you in brief, so this summary. And since this is the closing, I'll more like to go through what you've already experienced here. I have had the chance to go in detail, look already in advance through your program, but as well get a lot of useful information of different speakers and taking those elements as well as short key points of each of the speakers. So I think that's the best, that I'll use most of this time just summing up, so why this is important, what are the key outcomes so far. And I definitely want to thank every one of you as well joining this conference, SEMIC 2017. It has been an insightful and rewarding experience, I think, to all of you, but it's really coming together, face-to-face, collaborating, listening, creating new friendships and creating new, definitely insights on how to go deeper on this. With your topic, I always remember it was already 20 years ago, European Commission invited me to speak in one of the big knowledge management conferences about the IT architecture, but looking on what does it mean from the political perspective. At that time, I was a member of parliament in Finland, and there the member of what is still a permanent parliament's organ, so committee for the future, inventing the future. And this is what you have discussed here today. So it's building the strong architecture and basis for this kind of development. But at that time, 20 years ago, I think the issues of metadata and all the ICT, systemic approach on ICT was quite new, and especially when we, through our committee, we had worked a lot. So what does it mean to come from data and information to knowledge and wisdom? And who has then the right or kind of privilege to build that road? So everyone, every level is needed there. So without this data and data management, there is not that knowledge. But above all, if we, the political decision makers, that I'm looking this issue today as well. So if we don't have this well-organized and interoperable activities, the whole IT architecture, so then we could not really do our work. We could not really invent the future, and that's the target that we are looking for. I would first like to thank definitely the Malta Information Technology Agency for supporting this conference. In every country we have more or less the similar organizations, and that work is really crucial. The Maltese, they presented their national data strategy. This is now the 5th time within 5 months that I'm in Malta and looking in several ministerial meetings and other major events, so that even the small country like Malta can do so much. But I think this is part of what we have built in our European governance systems. We are all looking forward collaborating more via the ISA program and with the implementation of the ambitious plans, so that during the Maltese presidency has moved up. I would also like to thank all the speakers and every one of you. I'm sure that we have all learned a lot by following all these interesting presentations and discussions. We all now know much more about what it means to define and implement a data and information governance strategy with the challenges it implies. However, I want to stress, again, from the perspective of the European Committee of the Regions, because we are an official EU organization based on the Maastricht Treaty, representing all the cities and regions with our practically 700 members, half of them full members, half alternates, who come regularly from their daily activities as mayors, as regional presidents, as councillors from all parts of Europe. They come regularly 6 times a year for a 2 or 3 day plenaries, and then we have a lot of what we could simplify and call several subcommittees working on different aspects of European Union development. But our work is a bit different from all the rest, because the members, they are daily in charge of all the operations, public sector, business operations, closest to the citizens. And that means a lot. And that brings our special perspective for this topic as well. So what we have been challenging for several years is that every city and every region should be a pioneer, a forerunner in something. But for that, today we could not do that without digitalized systems and the kind of work that you are all operating for the success of this decision making there. But today it's even much more complicated, since we definitely want to highlight that it needs to be much more bottom-up. The operations there throughout Europe, so they are much more bottom-up. Even with when the Committee of the Regions, 2 years ago, we defined our 5-year priorities, and we started with the economic recovery, putting so strong pressure on growth, but not whatever growth, sustainable growth as it needs to be, and creating new jobs. And on the text itself, we started with the words bottom-up approach, and clarifying that. And I want to say this especially because we defined there 3 major kind of policy guidelines that we want to make to happen and combine. First was the mindset, entrepreneurial mindset and mentality, to be more open, more creative, more innovative in Europe, and not just starting new companies. Of course, that startups are crucial today, especially for the youth, but in renewing our business and public processes. But then linking this to digital single market. And on that, so your basic work is so crucial. And when I say about digital single market, I don't mean only that what we have at the moment, but we need to have a fully functioning digital single market. And there's much to do on that, but it needs to start on this as well, kind of bottom-up, integrating the different systems for the use of different actor groups. And then the third point was smart specialization. And on that, more and more important for all the policies in Europe. So it's that every region has their own smart specialization strategy, focusing on a few of the key spearheads. But I think the key core on that is as well, so how to build the concept. And on that concept, digitalization is the core. Kind of driver of that positive change. And then that needs to be this systemic concept needs to be built on more on the synergic use of different funding instruments. Again, you need all the information available of different projects, but not only that, it's somewhere in the databases, but it needs to be coming to the minds of the people so that we can orchestrate different projects to be operationalized in parallel, so that take the full advantage of many of these activities, how they can move on and bring that. So from these as well, so if I want to say that a few of the key things that are closest to you, so what are important for us as well, the all the regions and cities, certain kind of having this Digital Europe high on our priority list. It's definitely investing in data and information governance, developing further the management activities. It's about rethinking information retrieval and delivery within and beyond organizational boundaries. It's very much interoperability. Third point on my list here is sharing information and collaborating, meaning that this mindset and mentality needs to be more changed towards co-creation. And on that, all the basic work that you are doing is so crucial. Then the fourth is using data and information to improve decision making. So we need to look at that from the decision maker's perspective, but from the citizens' perspective as well. So how we can be more open, transparent, and motivating people with different roles and backgrounds to take more role and responsibility. So since the processes that we used to do by the cities and regions, so they are really changing a lot and they need to change. So cities and regions or city-driven regions, they are more the future powerhouses of Europe, but this means as well so that they need to create this kind of mentality that citizens are taking care more of many of the activities that used to be either not done at all or provided by the cities. And private sector, different organizational structures need to do a lot more. And I had the fifth list definitely on this list as well on the Digital Europe. From your perspective, I hope it's knowledge management, processes from data and information to this knowledge and wisdom, and that means this orchestration. And on that, so we cannot do that if we don't have the work that you have discussed here these days. But let's then highlight a few of the key messages from today. First, morning, Janek Rozov explained how Estonia build their data and information management strategy focusing on the perspective of the end users. And I'm very happy so that Estonia is playing so crucial role. They've challenged us as well. I've met twice Prime Minister now within the last couple of months to talk about the Estonian presidency, what we can do when we are doing that together. And I definitely want to learn more about that. By the way, I'm an e-citizen of Estonia, but I still have a lot of things to do, how to use that more for the benefit of the future. The XROAD system allows the nation's various services databases in public and private sector to link up and operate in harmony. And especially there, it's really that the project informed you was built with one of the ISA core vocabularies, which shows how they can facilitate the implementation of the digital public services. There's much to do on that, and after half a year after the Estonian presidency, I think that the whole Europe is much more aware, not only what should be done, but already has started to implement. Then the conference continued with the presentations from Joseph Savior Azzopardi, Peter van Landegem, Gilles Feit, Gaetan Giodo, and Guido Cunino, who explained the different experiences they have had in the implementation of data and information governance strategies at national and institutional levels. I think there's a lot on these different messages, but especially I would like to challenge all of you then to think, if you think about that both on the user perspective, but especially take there the political decision makers, how we could be more enthusiastic about to develop our own, let's say, data management system. I think that maybe next I would like to highlight a few of these messages. Gaetan presented the information asset catalog that ECDC is building as part of their information governance strategy, including the challenges encountered and the next steps planned. The Information Management Programme of EFSA was presented by Guido, who shared with us the different areas the program is composed of, as well as the structure and the roadmap. We hope that all the experiences shared today will help you to learn, develop, and implement your own strategies. During the following session, we learned about the initiatives the European institutions and the member states' public administrations are busy with in the field of data analytics. Manuel Perez Gomez presented the pilot of the region of Madrid in Spain, conducted with the support of the ISA program, and the pilot used statistics techniques to identify, segment, and analyze the different groups at risk of social exclusion. Olivier Eralert shared the semantic similarity platform that the Joint Research Centre is building to help resolve the challenge of the application of research grants. And I want to highlight that Committee of the Region, we are doing quite much nowadays with the Joint Research Centre. Really, we call that Science Meets Regions. We have piloted it, and we need to do much more now to get the latest scientific knowledge, research knowledge in active use. And on that, again, what you have had here today plays a crucial role. Titus Bourdieu presented the IT architecture that Eurostat has envisaged in order to utilize the existing and additional data sources in the more extensive way. These presentations are indeed a reflection of the corporate strategy that the European Commission and more generally public administration set out with the objective of maximizing the use of data for evidence-based policymaking. And this is what we are looking for, so that policymakers should and need to have more time to look on the data information, different knowledge flows, so that we take that much stronger in active use. But that's why we have challenged this, what we call the regional innovation ecosystem. So much is now moving to ecosystem thinking, so that we can encourage this kind of local regional collaboration based, again, on the information knowledge, and then link this as an instrument, these regional ecosystems, for European partnerships, and there that's linked with the smart specialization, the spearheads. So we would finally then, within the next years, move more and more to use the best parts of the existing knowledge. So not only that we try to invent something with our own resources, with our own existing knowledge in our own box, but do that more collaboratively. In the session about the master data, Robert Grimmer presented how building upon existing architectures and systems will support utilizing the wealth of experience with the once only principle already present throughout Europe. And during the session on knowledge sharing, Sebastian Slars presented how Germany is tailoring ISA vocabularies to match the needs of the German open data portal to build their extension of another ISA specification, the data catalog vocabulary application profile, for their national data portal. I'm very confident the lessons learned from the implementation will support and inspire additional implementations and could make the specification evolve further. Beata Lisowska presented the challenges of metadata in open data portals, but also provided an overview of potential solutions. So not only that, okay, the data is available, but how we use that to get the solutions. It became clear that there is a real need for a standardized way of publishing metadata by open data portals to allow users to find the context of the data in the simpler way, but also to allow federated search across platforms, so that the power of machine-readable discoverability of data can be unleashed. And here I want to stress again, so Committee of the Region, we are looking for that the role of cities is really moving as catalyzers, as enablers of this kind of development. And there I mean so that the cities are coming to be more like platforms with many respects and perspectives, so that creating these new opportunities for the new business development, both public processes, private processes, and citizens and the third sector organizations themselves. And how this is a big change on what the whole smart specialization is about as well. So transportation of the economic agenda. And there we could not do all of this without the work that you are a specialist. Learning about the motivations and challenges behind semantic data portals projects can be an inspiration for others planning to implement such portals. And the panel led by Vasilios Peristeras, just what he had, so that tackled that from many perspectives. And I think that's so clearly in your mind, so that I don't want to go on this. But let me conclude that, dear participants, thank you wholeheartedly for being here today. I hope that the conference has inspired you and has given you ideas for defining, developing, and implementing data and information governance strategies with the objective of increasing interoperability and improving information exchange and sharing at regional, national, and European level. So much has happened recently. 2010, I was the rapporteur for the Committee of the Region on Digital Europe, Digital Agenda for Europe, and that was really a challenging task at that time, but so much has happened, but so much more is to be done. I look forward for you to participate in next year's conference, as well as participants or speakers presenting your implementations and sharing your experiences. And I hope that all of you have enjoyed this year's conference as much as I know many of you have done, and you will join again next year and the years after. This year we are organized back-to-back with the Digital Assembly. I need to say that I'm joining there as well tomorrow and for the day after. And the Digital Assembly is an opportunity for stakeholders to debate, take stock, and look ahead at how Europe and its partners around the world are preparing for the digital transformation. Please join there if you have a chance, if you have not booked your flight the way that you need to leave already. And I want to finally say that our work, or your work, is not only about Europe, it's global. And that's why I'm very happy that we have had here a few participants as well from other parts of the world, and that's something that is especially now tackling the climate change and a couple of the other societal challenges. So we are so proud that we have good collaborators around the world. With some, we have some problems a bit, but they will learn. I'm very confident on that. So, finally, I would like to invite all you to join for the networking drink, which is taking place here at the hotel. So let's enjoy and let's share some of the what next ideas, what you want to do, and voluntarily everyone can do a lot. So committing 1 or 2 new things that you apply when you go back home, and that's what everyone needs to do. That's what I need to do as well. Going home both to my city, Espoo in Finland, where we can be a leader in many of these new developments. But I know from my background, being now just the newly elected chair of the board, so for next years we'll be really making the new things to happen there. I know that with the ICT sector, we've done so much, but unfortunately, not all that has been implemented yet, but that's my commitment. So enjoy the evening and thank you for being with us today.